The NFL stands for not for long.
Set, Sharga and Armstead. Roll out, Walker still running out. Looks to the left, wide open, Thompson touchdown. Colin Thompson with the touchdown. There was nobody within 20 yards of
What a catch off the bobble. Colin Thompson scoops it up.
Lofting corner, the end zone. It is caught for the touchdown. The first NFL touch for Colin Thompson is a score.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Colin Thompson Show, presented by our friends over at Not For Long Media and our friends over the Original Fudge Kitchen, shipping fudge and sweet treats across the country, even all the way to Seattle, where we're headed this week here with the Minnesota Vikings for our first preseason game against your Seattle Seahawks. We play this upcoming Thursday, 10 o'clock at night Eastern time on NFL Network. Really excited for that, and a great opportunity to get back on the field with my teammates and have some fun playing games. I've been able to play a few of them throughout my career, and I think there's no better person to come out with this week than KJ Wright, absolute Seattle Seahawks legend linebacker. I was able to meet at the NFL Media Boot Camp, Gala, whatever it was. It was a really first-class, unique event. Him and I dive into that. We dive into a bunch of different things about the best players he played with in Seattle. Pete Carroll, Richard Sherman, you name it. His career, his journey into media and broadcasting. You can see him on NFL Network now time to time. He calls games for the Seattle Seahawks now, I believe, on the radio. So he's just a stud in the business, on and off the field, and a great guy. And like I said, I think you guys are really going to enjoy this episode with KJ. Right before I do, talked about our friends over at Fudge Kitchen. They ship it across the country. Saltwater taffy, chocolate-covered pretzels, homemade peanut butter cups, you name it, they're doing it. Ice cream there. They have coffee there, the whole nine. Check them out all the way down the Jersey Shore, up and down, from Ocean City, New Jersey, all the way down to Cape May, multiple locations in multiple towns, including Ocean City and Cape May. And, it wouldn't be possible without them. So shout out to our friends at the Original Fudge Kitchen, guys. Get yourself some Jersey Shore fudge, whether you're there or whether you're across the country and you need it shipped. So looking forward to playing in Seattle this week. If you're going to the game, use promo code Colin Thompson at SeatGeek for $20 off your purchase, $50 or more. Guys, I digress. I hope you guys enjoy the KJ Wright podcast, and looking forward to playing Seattle Seahawks this Thursday night in a preseason game.
I love everything, the ambiance here. This is beautiful.
You like the ambiance here? Not For Long Media and the Colin Thompson Show. I appreciate it. We got the legendary Seahawk legend, really NFL legend, future really media legend, part of the whole new media push, and a guy I respected, didn't have the chance to play against, but watched a ton of his film. The great KJ Wright. What's going on, KJ?
Colin, what's good? What's good? How you been, man?
I'm doing great, man. Last time I saw you, we were at the NFL Media Workshop, which I came on my show and said that it was one of the most first-class experiences I've ever been a part of. From
Absolutely.
flight to travel to food to, a great hotel, bus transportation. NFL West was just incredible. The people, the connections, the cast of characters that we were with was fun. What were your thoughts on the NFL Media Workshop?
I was blown away. Just being a guy that played in the NFL for 11 years, got a Super Bowl. I still get starstruck to this day. And just being up there with Rich Eisen, being side by side next to Kurt Warner, doing my practicing and all that stuff was a surreal experience. And being with the top producers, practicing, calling in NFL games on TV, radio, it was a cool experience. So that was my second time actually doing that. And so just vibing with the guys, met Mark Ingram, Ryan Shazier, just so many dudes that I watched over the years, and just to bond with them and hang out with them, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was an awesome event. Now, what did you feel most comfortable with out of the 4 to 5 things we did?
I had a blast calling the radio games. The radio was fun. When you probably don't know this, I didn't tell you, but when I got on my TV thing, I was like, blew it. I was like, I didn't blow it, but I just wanted to nail it. But I felt like I nailed the Chiefs Chargers game. when we call the radio spot. And so I do radio now. And so getting on there, describing that, bringing that energy, actually describing the game to the listeners, I thought that was a good one for me.
Yeah, I've done some radio in the past too. I probably did between 15 and 20 games. My first 3 years in and out of the league, I was practice squad, got hurt, all these different things. So I found myself at Round Temple, where I graduated from. I started at Florida, and I was calling games. I traveled with the team. It was great. I was making like $150 a week, whatever it was. And I'd spend it the night before going out with all my buddies who were coaches and all, eating and whatever. And I learned a lot, man. I had a ton of value in it. And I was so looking forward to that. But I was also nervous. And I want to ask your thoughts on this, because you have a podcast, you have a media conglomerate, I have a podcast, media company. I thought going in, I was one of the guys that had the most experience doing this. Where on the football field, you were top of the league, top of your craft, one of the highest paid players in the league at one point in time in your position. I've never had that experience in football. Now, high school and college is different, but when you're in the NFL, I was a low man just trying to make the roster. Here, I'm walking into this room of like you, Kelsey, Sue, Mark Ingram, Chris Johnson, and have the most experience. I'm the quote unquote, not best, but you know what I'm saying? I had the most.
You're seasoned.
And I was like nervous about that. I've never really been in that spot, but I end up being comfortable and feeling good with it. What were your thoughts going into it, your second time compared to your first time?
Well, anytime you do something like that and you want to be great at it. Like to this, when I was playing my 11th, 10th football season, I still got those butterflies like I did my second or third year. You just want to nail it. You want to do well. You want to get a job. Like I want to master this thing. And so I was just as nervous. Like when I got on set with Steve White and Kurt Warner, I was like, okay, KJ, take your deep breaths, 3 deep breaths, have fun. You talk to yourself, just kill this thing. And so I was nervous as well. First time I was real loose because I was still playing. So I'm like year 5, like, hey, I'm just doing this for fun, whatever. The second time I'm retired. Hey, I really want to take this thing serious. And so the nerves picked up a little bit, but overall I had fun. It was a cool experience. Met some great producers, some great people on the media side. So truly enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was really cool. I tell people it's like a once in a lifetime opportunity to have that opportunity to go in and do that. I felt the most comfortable calling the game as well. The desk spot as a podcaster, I wanted to go more, talk more, dive into it, unfold it. And it's funny, I learned a lot, and I gained a lot of respect for these guys on TV, because you got like 30, 40 seconds to get your point across, and you got to move on. Where I'm trying to break this puppy down, man. I struggle with that.
Hey, Colin, you know what was hilarious? We was watching you when you were going with the other guy. What's the tight end name from Denver?
Chris Manhertz.
Chris, we were rolling when you were doing your thing, and you turned into the interviewee where you started. I was like, who does this guy think he is, asking these questions? And that was funny. You could just tell, like, you're really intrigued by bringing the best out of guys, asking questions, and you know what the viewers want to listen to. So we definitely got a kick out of that.
That's good. I'm glad. And it was funny because it was like a group would go and you'd wait like 45 minutes to the next group, and 30 minutes. And you could watch, for the folks listening, you could watch each group on TV before. But that was strategic, KJ. I wanted to show that, I'm not a big name player. I played a couple years in the league. I'm still trying to play. I played in the league. I reached that mountaintop, but I didn't make these big plays. I didn't sign second contracts, this whole deal. So I wanted to show that, hey, listen, like, I'm a former player, but I can host a show too. And I've had some opportunities come out of it because of it. I wanted to show that to me, it's an easy selling point if I'm the network, like, okay, we have a former player that can host the show and then ask questions to the players. So it'd be an all players panel. Yeah. That's why I went that way. So
I like that.
I want to talk about you. What do you have going on in your life right now? I turned on the NFL Network this morning on July 18th here, and KJ will come out sometime in August. And I'm like, KJ's on NFL Network today because you've had a lot of hits with it, but it was the best of. You're on multiple times. I
like that.
Before we dive into NFL Network, though, just talk about what you're up to now, your show, your journey, your life here, family, where you're living, the whole nine.
Yep. So this is my second year retired from the NFL, still living in Seattle, Washington. I love it up here. I'm staying put. And just launched my foundation. It's the Right Way Foundation. So I'm very passionate about the youth, and in particular when it comes to financial literacy. Like, I just want to see this cycle broken with our youth, with these kids, and just this rat race that people are chasing. And so, partnering with JP Morgan and the Boys and Girls Club, going to go there every week throughout the school year to just pour into these kids. And yeah, I got my own podcast, KJ All Day. It is a lot of work, just filming, bringing in lights and cameras and guests. And it's not even season time. So it's definitely a beast. Hopefully it picks up, or hopefully it's, becomes smoother as the season goes along. And yeah, just acquired my first real estate property. I got an 8-unit here in Seattle. Renovating that. It's a value add building. And so I'm moving and grooving, just trying to find that balance, that flow. Doing some Seahawks and media during the preseason, pregame show, postgame show, sideline reporting. So I'm rocking and rolling, man.
I love it. I love it. Now, my question for you is you're speaking like a seasoned veteran, like a guy who was a sponge while he was in the league, but you're a sponge for a reason, right? Your parents, coaches, mentors, everyone says oh, this guy's like this with his money, or this guy acts like this in leagues. Well, there's a reason why. It's where you come from, it's how you're raised. It's just like normal society. It's just a microcosm of it. And I always say, I think the locker room's a better version of society because we can have conversations. You see us at our highest points, our lowest points around our family. I'll always say it's way better than society. I digress. For you, who helped you dive into this? Hey, invest in real estate. Hey, do this with your body. Hey, do that. Are there some people in your journey here, all the way from your childhood now to being a veteran, an all-time great in Seattle, and now in the media business?
99% of the credit goes to Ken Norton Jr., and that was my linebacker coach when I played in Seattle. He's 3-time Super Bowl champion, played 13 years in the NFL, and he was that guy that really just poured into me when it came to my finances, when it came to how to take care of my body, when it came to reading. I didn't read a book until as an adulthood until Ken Norton Jr. He started this book club during OTAs. It's OTA time, and we got a book club going, and each guy was required once a week. We read a lot of John Gordon books. Hey, read this book, this finance book. What did you learn? And just what he poured into me as a human being. And we just went over fatherhood and how to be a great teammate, how to handle conflict. And he actually wrote a book for us. And so I love that, man, what he did for me and my career, what he did for Bobby's career, Bruce Irvin's career. He truly just a tremendous man, tremendous coach. And I was very fortunate to have him as my linebacker coach because I truly don't think that I make it 11 years without him.
Why did you listen to him, though, is my next question. Why did you grasp him? Was it a vet? Was it, someone pushing you towards him, or was you were just dying for that in your life?
Oh, I was a football junkie growing up. I was a Cowboys fan, and I always remember watching number 51 for the Cowboys and making all these plays. And so I remember when I went to the combine, I interviewed with the Seahawks. It was Ken Norton Jr. and Coach Carroll. And Coach Carroll, at the end of the interview, Coach Carroll got done. And he looked at Ken Norton. He was like, "What you think about this guy? You think he could be one of us?" And Coach Norton looked at me. He was like, "Yeah, I think we can do something with this dude." And I don't know if he says that to everybody, but when he said that to me, I truly felt a connection with him. I was like, man, one day I hope that this man could be my coach. And yeah, just had a hell of an NFL career on and off the field because of this man, what he did for me. Going from Mississippi to Seattle, Washington, you get homesick. Hey, come over, watch the boxing match. Come over, have Thanksgiving with us. My house is your house, and so to this day, he's still my top dog.
So Mississippi State, who recruited you there?
Sylvester Croom. You remember Sylvester Croom?
I don't.
What?
And I'm sorry, Sylvester. I don't know.
He was the first African-American head coach in the SEC. He played under, what's that long-time Alabama head coach?
Bear Bryant.
He played for Bear Bryant, coached for Bear Bryant, and Coach Croom is a legend. Okay. Go do your homework.
I got to do my homework now. My tail's between my legs. That's good. That's why I like doing the pod, because I can admit when I'm wrong and I get to learn new things. Now, was he your head coach all the way through your time there?
No. So I had Coach Croom for 2 years, and then completely different human being came in, Dan Mullen. I love Coach Mullen, but night and day human beings. And when he came, he really shifted the culture, shifted our mentality, shifted really the brand of Mississippi State. It was that old school ground and pound, 21 personnel, 22 personnel with Coach Kroom. Then Mullen came, we aired it out, had some fun, throwing the ball downfield. Dak Prescott came down there, put us on the map a little bit more. So I got two, completely different experiences.
Yeah, you guys had some really good players there. You still do. I mean, the SEC always pumps them out, but that place has had some studs over the years that have had awesome NFL careers. Okay, so for me, I always wonder because I saw you I always knew you were a big guy. I always knew you ran well. I know you're a huge part of that Seattle defense. That was just legendary, and it will be talked about for the history of NFL football. I'm so happy Cam Chancellor retired when I got into the league. Thank you, Cam. I can handle a lot of guys, but these dudes running from like 14 yards deep, smoking like a missile is way different than a backer from 5 yards away. Cam is a legend, and I know you think so highly of him as a player. But how did you slip to the fourth round? Now I didn't go through your tape here, but you're long, you run well. Like, was it your position you were playing then compared to the league? Like, how did that work out? Because all the boxes check. And I guess it was a different form of football. Now you'd be a first pick, you'd be a top 10 pick. But back then, it was still a little bit different of a league. It wasn't as passing as it is now.
I believe looking back at it, the first game of my senior year, I had a high ankle sprain. I messed up the first game, and I'm like, here I am, my senior year. I don't want to sit on the bench. I want to play. And so I was a majority of the time, I was like 60, 70%, not playing healthy at all. Fast forward, Coach Norton tell you this story. I go to the Senior Bowl. These geniuses decide to put me at defensive end and do one-on-one pass rushes with offensive linemen. They're like, hey, you're 6'4", 250 pounds. You can rush the passer. Come put your hand in the dirt and rush the quarterback. I'm like, I've never put my hand in the dirt a day in my life. Why now? And so I go do that, go get demolished. She buried me in the ground. Okay, go from second round to third round, whatever. Combine, like 3 days before the combine, I tweaked my back. And so here I am at the combine. I'm like, KJ, what are you going to do? Are you going to run your 40 or are you going to say you're hurting and wait till pro day? This is like my first real NFL decision. I'm like, you out here, suck it up, run. I run a 4.75. Slow as dirt. I think that's slow. So
I wish I ran that, but yeah.
And so just looking at it, played hurt. Senior Bowl was a disaster. Combine, I ran slow. Fourth round. And so I just remember being sick to my stomach, Colin, on draft day, just waiting. And I mean, what round did you go?
Undrafted, baby.
Undrafted. So I'm sure that was hard too. But
yeah, no, I mean, I knew where I was going. It was much different. And I had a bunch of injuries early in my career in college that really led me to like no running and no lifting on my lower body for almost a 2-year period. It was devastating, but it worked out okay. And I think it allowed me to still reach my goals playing because I started from the ground up. I had to build myself back up. And much as it struggled anxiety-wise to like, wow, I'm not performing the way I know I can. My body's not doing what I know it can. Usually people have that older in their career. I had it younger. So I was able to every year get better and better and better. Everyone's like, wow, you're running well. Wow, you're doing this. And it was like, listen, I know I'm limited athletically. I'm not saying I'm KJ Wright, but I know I can do certain things. The reason why I was one of the top tight ends in the country coming out of high school and was an All-American, like I know it's there. I just need to get my body back. I broke my right foot twice, broke my left foot, had some real weird stuff, and that's why I left Florida. But I digress. Okay, take us through a day, a week, the details of working at the NFL Network and doing Good Morning Football.
Ooh, okay. So did Good Morning Football last month and, get your flights done, all that stuff. So, Good Morning Football comes on the East Coast at 7 a.m. We have our production meetings at 5:30 that morning. So you waking up early. So to give you the notes before, hey, this is what we're going to go over. And it's a 3-hour show, Colin. This is 3 hours of preparation that you have to do the night before. So you get your notes around 5 p.m. that night. Wake up at 5:30 that morning. Here's a production meeting. This is what we're going over. This block, this block, this block, this block. And then you wake up in the morning. They pick you up, get your makeup done, all that fun stuff. Go over your notes, and it's showtime. And so the hardest part is prepare. I never had to prepare for a 3-hour show ever. And so that's a lot of studying you have to do. That's a lot of remembering you have to do. Then once you get on set, one thing that I had to master is looking at the camera. Like, you're around people on the show, but you're really talking to the millions of people that's watching. So that's something I really had to master, was like, I'm not talking to Peter or McCourty. I'm talking to the millions of viewers. And so it was a really cool experience. I had a blast doing it, and I'm definitely going to go out there and do it again.
No doubt. I thought you were natural with it. I thought your size and your presence and the way you articulated and have great stories were just tremendous. And I thought they did a great job elevating you, making you comfortable too.
Yep.
Did you, like, they brought that Seattle stuff back? Did you find comfortability in that?
Absolutely. And I felt like I was, first of all, it's our 10-year reunion of winning the Super Bowl. So we was talking about that. But I want to be the same guy sitting down that I am standing up. When I'm standing up, I'm like, I feel big, energetic, masculine. I need to have that same demeanor when I'm sitting down, but in a different way, but still have that, like, I own this when I'm in this position. And so I'm definitely learned a lot. Yeah. And I'm telling you, Colin, it is so frustrating, or it's a challenge when you're in this business and when you have to critique guys. Like, you hear it. I hear it all the time. Hey, man, what's up with this? You can't be saying that. You a hater. Like, you're supposed to be for the players. I'm like, I'm for the truth. Like, if I see something, I'm going to say something. And so coming in this business, that is the hardest part by far, is when you have to address the truth and it comes out harsh, when you got to receive that, that stuff from your teammates, because I hear it all the time, and it's definitely hard, but you got to be honest at the same time.
No doubt. I've heard stories of players that are on national media now that their former head coaches that may or may not be comfortable with them on social media. And I know the person, I'm trying to be discreet as possible here. The head coach said, listen, if we suck, tell us we suck. Go do your job. Go elevate in the business. And that's really hard to do. It's easier for you to do, I think, probably than me, because you're an all-pro. But that will be a decision for me that I'll have to do. And I'm not saying it's easy, trust me, for you at all. They're your friends. But like, I will get trashed when I start making fun of people. They're going to pull up blocks. That's just part of the NFL. You're going to fail no matter how good you are. But I digress, man. I digress. We mentioned Seattle. You mentioned the 10-year anniversary. I mean, can you sum up the fans, the organization, living out there, the passion, the weather's involved? Like, it's just an ideal place for an NFL franchise, especially with the success and how well they've done it at a first-class level.
Man, I had a blast playing there. Just playing in front of 70,000 people in the loudest stadium in the NFL. Each and every year we were in 10-plus games, always in the playoffs, blowing people out. Defense just dominating. Don't you even think about scoring a touchdown. Don't you even think about it. Just sitting, watching Marshawn Lynch do his thing, watching Russell Wilson bomb the ball downfield, back-to-back Super Bowls, comeback wins versus the Green Bay Packers in the NFC Championship, the tip ball versus Sherman in the other NFC Championship. I mean, we were just we dominated the league for like 4 to 5 years. And I had the time of my life, seeing guys, get big contracts. Pro Bowls. This picture right here, like 8 of us went to the Pro Bowl one year. And so I had a blast playing there, man. Just 10 years in one spot at a very high level. It was a dream come true. Couldn't ask for a better NFL career.
No doubt. And I think there's a lot that goes into it, obviously. You have players and success, and you got to draft well, but the fans, like that neon yellow and the jersey, like there's just little things that I remember. And there's 2 things that kind of took my breath away a little bit as a player. 2020 was the first year I really got into the league after, 3-4 years of XFL, AAF, practice squads in the league, injuries. And we go to, we went to Seattle and we went to Green Bay. And Green Bay, obviously, you know it, I know it. It's just cool playing there. It's like playing in a history lesson. I know you played a lot of games there in the NFC, primarily a lot of the playoffs, I'm sure. I digress, but going to Seattle, I just remembered like Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson and you guys and like all these great games against versus Saints and all these, like it just like hit me. And I played an XFL game there. I'll never forget this.
Yeah.
This was the first COVID, I think, was out in Seattle.
Yep.
So we played the XFL game there, and it was packed. There was 40,000 fans there at the game. We had to go. We had to go no huddle against the Seattle Dragons. Backed up. We were a mess. We unfolded, and I'll never forget, man. We landed back in Tampa. I was with the Vipers. Mark Tressman was my head coach. And long story short, we got back there, and someone's like, "Hey, man, there was a COVID case in the building. One of the vendors, one of the hot dog vendors had COVID." I'm like, "Oh, man." We all started washing our hands. We had no idea what it was at the time. And then whatever it was, 2 weeks later, what's his name in Seattle's licking the microphone saying, "I don't have COVID." And then he gets COVID, and then that was it. The league folded, and I digress. But it's a great city, man. It was it's a cool place, man.
Yeah, just when you look at the Kraken are here, the Mariners are here. We're longing for the Seattle Super Sons to come, the Sounders. Like anything that Seattle does, these people come out and they show out, and just and they're so consistent. Like whether you're winning, whether you're losing, this fan base is on point. And I played in every NFL stadium. I've been in, like you said, Lambeau, Chiefs, Miami. Like this.
New Orleans is loud.
New Orleans is loud. New Orleans may be second.
I put them one, and not because Seattle's not the loudest. Just the pure fact that they're indoors and they're definitely pumping in music. The combination, the combination of indoors, a little bit of music, maybe.
Yeah.
People hammered from Bourbon Street.
Exactly.
And the fans there. I think that combination puts them solely at one. If you put Seattle inside, I think it blows them out. Yeah. But I mean, man, it's a lot. It's tough. I think I'm all over the place. Seattle's truly one. We all know it, but New Orleans is right there.
Yep, and that's you probably too young to remember this, but the St. Louis Rams used to do that too. We're in the dome. You could hear like the screechiness. I'm like, this is not natural noise. This is something y'all are doing something.
That we listen to during practice.
Exactly. And I'm like, I don't think this is legal, but you guys are definitely doing this, and it's definitely annoying, and it's a home field advantage.
So I want to dive into a few things here as we kind of descend towards the end of the pod. But you played a long time, and the league changed a lot through your time, right? It became more of a passing league. I mean, you still got to make tackles, still got to play in a run game, but like, how'd you change individually as a player? What are some things that like take our audience into the not the normal stuff? Not like, I try to get bigger, stronger, faster, but like, to start your rookie year, maybe you had a chiropractor. Then the end of the year, you have a full-time body service. You have a chef. Yeah. Do you not have a chef? Like, what did you change throughout your year? Because I've changed stuff every single season. Whether I've been in the XFL, the AAF, practice squad, doing radio. Like, what are some things where you kind of started to where you finish your career? Like, this is a necessary thing. Whether it could be, I know my question's running along here. I'll be getting ripped by the media people at the workshop, but this is what a podcast is for. Like financial advisors, like what's the team around you of people, agents that helped you really complete and have a great career?
I mean, when you come in as a rookie, you're clueless. You have no idea. You have no idea what you're doing. And I came into the league. I'm going to get a massage every other week. I'll be young. I'm young, fresh. I just keep all my money in Bank of America. I don't need to look into investments, all this stuff, film study. Y'all watch film here and there. Fast forward to year 9, KJ. Let's just fast forward to year 9, KJ. Here I am, 3 massages a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, acupuncture on Tuesday, cold tub twice a week, Epsom salt the day after, film study. I wake up at 5:15, watch film before work, first person in the building. What else? Got a whole portfolio, know where my money is. Like, this is the business plan, the estate plan, investments here, investments there. You just grow. You just grow as a person. You just grow as you hear stuff from your teammates. Hey, what are you doing? What are you invested in? You build a team around you. I've had to fire people. I've had to fire a few people actually to just build the right team around me. And you just grow over the years. And the good thing in Seattle was it was an open book. Like, I just had vets like investing into me, pouring into me. I remember after my rookie year, like a week later, I started working out. One of my vets like, man, what the what you doing, man? Like, it's too early. Let your body relax, like unwind, take a chill pill. And so I'm just really fortunate to just learn over the years. Did some dumb stuff, but as you grow as a person, you start to figure it out.
No doubt. That's gold right there. You can't put a price tag on that, young folks. Yeah, it's a good point about firing people, letting your agents go, or moving on from finance people or whatever. I mean, it's tough and you're going to get criticized for it and everyone's going to tell you you're wrong, but it's part of the big boy decisions of this league.
Yep, I've had to fire 2 agents, fired a financial advisor. Yeah, you just got to do what's best for you and your family that you have at home. It's a business. Like, you got to get it right. And this window is small. Like, there's no wiggle room to mess this up. If it's not right, if I give you a chance after chance and you blow and you mess it up, I got to move on and find somebody else that will. And so the NFL is ruthless. It's ruthless, and life is ruthless as well. And so you got to get it right, build the right team, and just keep this thing pushing.
NFL stands for not for long, man. That's why I built a media company when I had an emergency appendectomy. And